Joining us now, Missouri State Senator Democrat Jill Schupp. She is vying to unseat U.S. Congresswoman Ann Wagner, a Republican in Missouri's highly contested 2nd congressional district race. Dave Wasserman of the nonpartisan Cook Political Report says that State Senator Schupp could pull off, quote, one of the biggest upsets on election night. Thank you very much for being on the show with us this morning. What are you hearing from voters? What are you hearing from voters, and what do you think is making your campaign a contender?
Well, I will tell you that people in this community really want to see a change. They are excited and energized to have somebody who is working on their behalf, not on behalf of the big corporations and special interests. And it starts with the most basic thing. People want access to affordable health care. People are concerned about my opponent, the current Congresswoman who has voted against the Affordable Care Act 5 times. There are many, many people in this community with pre-existing conditions. They want to make sure their health care is intact. So that is one of the biggest issues, even before the pandemic, for the people here in this community. And they're energized and excited about somebody new who really, my goal was never to get into politics. I got into politics as a result of a problem in my kid's school that needed to be fixed. And we had to nobody else stepped up, so I did. I ran for office. We fixed those problems. We came up with solutions. And I know, and the people here know, that you need to work for solutions to problems for the people in the community. And that's why I believe they're so energized behind a new candidate, somebody who is here for change.
Senator Schupp, it's Willie Geist. Good to have you on the show this morning. We talk so much in terms of this national election about suburban women, so you're the perfect person to talk to because you are the suburbs of St. Louis, a relatively wealthy suburban area of St. Louis. So what are you seeing among the suburban women that we talk about broadly across the country? What are their concerns? What's top of mind as you go out and campaign?
Right. Well, thank you. Good to see you, Willie. I think, again, the biggest concern people have is affordable access to health care. So people with pre-existing conditions, especially now in this economy, young adults who are up to age 26 want to be able to stay on their parents' health care, especially if they're not employed right now. And people want to get through this pandemic. They have seen an absolute lack of leadership, both at the top of the ticket and from the person who represents them in Washington. You know, if we had done this months ago, we wouldn't be talking about these things. But access to health care, they want schools to open again safely instead of opening and closing. We know our kids need in-person learning, and people are worried here about rebuilding our economy. So they're doing the same issues here in suburban St. Louis are the issues that we see around the country. And people want somebody to go to Washington and represent their interests, somebody who stands with them, not with the big corporations and special interests. And Willie, this is a very split district in terms of party. That's why we are virtually tied in this race. People want to know that the person who is representing them cares about solutions and listens to people on both sides of the aisle to get at the best solutions to the problems that they face. This is not a district where you can vote with your party 97% of the time and expect to be representing all the people here. People want to know that there is somebody reaching out to them, willing to make positive change on their behalf, even if that person is from the other party.
Casey Hunt, step up.
Senator Schupp, good morning. My question, you mentioned just how split your district is, and I guess I'm curious about whether, especially when you talk to people who have perhaps voted on, either way, a Democrat and then Republican, or changed parties or are independents, are they tired of what they're seeing from President Trump every day? Are they tired of the show? Or do you feel like Republicans who live in your area are still excited and energized by the way he conducts himself every day?
You know, I will tell you, excuse me, that people are tired of the partisan bickering that's going on in Washington. They're tired of what they're hearing at the top of the ticket. I have Republicans who have stood up and publicly supported me in this race. A lot of the Republicans in our community feel like their party has left them. And so they're looking for somebody who is willing to go and represent them and hear them out. There is not a lot of enthusiasm in this district. You know, we saw President Trump win by 10 points in this district in 2016. Right now, Joe Biden is up in the polls in this district. And to see that a Democrat and a Republican in this congressional district are in a tie, 49 to 49 in the polls, tells you that something dramatic has changed. And people want to see something different. They want to feel that they're heard and represented, and they want to know that there's somebody going to Washington who is listening to the people back home and will bring their concerns and issues to the fore and make sure we're doing things to create good solutions for everyone in the community.
All right, Missouri State Senator Jill Schupp, thank you very, very much. Good luck to you.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.